Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is the sine rule. And we're going to be doing some practice today. If you haven't watched my sine rule explanation video yet, pause right here, check the link in the description below, go understand the concept first, and then come back for solving. So today's question is work out the size of angle BCD. So let's suppose this is my shape that is ABCD and it says work out the angle of BCD. So which angle is it talking about? Whenever we have something like this, they always talk about the middle letter for the angle. So my BCD means that this angle C right here. Now, considering the fact that sine rule has two lengths and two angles, and the formula says sine A upon A equals sine B upon B. Now, if I try and take this part as my sine A, so the one that's right opposite to that, I do have it. But if I'm dealing with this one, I would need the corresponding length, that is this, the BD. But as you can notice, neither do I have my angle C nor do I have my length BD. So first thing I gotta do is I need to probably find my BD first. And also, just to mention, do not get confused about the fact that there's a there and there's a small a and it's a capital B and small b, but here I have a B and I have a C, and here there's an A and B. Just don't confuse yourself about that. It doesn't really matter what your letters are. It could be an X, Y, Z, and something like that. The only concept is that it's just written. The formula is written in this format, A over A and B over B. But the whole point is that whichever angle you're taking as your A, the length that is right opposite to that is your small a. This is the whole concept and this is the whole point of this formula. So just don't confuse yourself with the letters. So moving on. Now, if I want my BD, now you can see very clearly that my A has the angle 77, my D has the angle 50, 51, and the length that is right opposite to my 51 is 14, and the length that is right opposite to 77 is my BD. So again, I have two lengths and two angles and two lengths. One of them is available, one of them is missing. So I can just simply find out my BD first. So for that, I'm going to write down, let's suppose, sine 51 over 14 equals sine 77 over my BD, or I could also just call it as my X, or I could keep it as BD. Now, when you have your denominator as unknown, then the best practice is to take it to the other side just so that you can get rid of the denominator part and you have a single one line equation kind of thing. So if I take my 14 to the other side, since 14 is in division here, when it goes to the other side, it becomes multiplication. Similarly, BD is in division with the sine 77, it goes to the other side, turns into multiplication. So I'm just going to do BD times sine 51 equals 14 times sine 77. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my 14 with the sine 77. So when I do that, first thing, make sure your calculator is set on degrees. So 14 times sine 77 is 13.6411, etc. So I'm just going to write 13.641. It's always best practice to not to round off your answer midway of the solution, just so that you get a more accurate answer. So just keep it till at least 3 to 4 decimal places so you get a more appropriate answer. So I have a BD and sine 51. So now, since I have to find my BD, I'm going to be taking my sine 51 to the other side. That is, I have to isolate my BD. Now, sine 51 is in multiplication with BD. So when it goes to the other side, it turns into division. So BD is going to be this answer, 13.641, divided by sine 51. So again, if I do that on my calculator, make sure again your calculator is set on degrees. So 13.641 divided by sine 51 gives me 17.552 and so on. So I could just round this off to 17.6. So I have my length that is 17.6 meters. So now it becomes a little easy to solve for my angle C because I have my angle 82 and the length that is right opposite to that is 30, and I have my angle C and the length right opposite to that is 17.6. So now I can just simply use the sine rule again, and if I do sine 82 over 30, equals sine C. I don't know what my C is. I could also label it as X or Y or whatever. I could just keep it as C. Sine C over the length that is opposite to that is 17.6. So first thing I'm going to do is sine 82 divided by 30. That gives me something like this. Make sure your calculator is set on degrees, and sine 82 divided by 30 gives me 0.033009 and so on. And then I have to take my 17.6 to the other side because I want to find my C. And in order to find my C, I will need to isolate the C. I need to take everything that is attached with the C to the other side. So 17.6 is in division with the sine C. When it goes to the other side, turns into multiplication. So 0.033 and so on times 17.6. So if I check that on my calculator, again, make sure your calculator is set on degrees. So my answer is 0.5808. So 0.5808 equals sine C. Now, again, I have to find my C. So for that, I'm going to be isolating it. Whatever is attached with the C goes to the other side. Now here I have a sine attached with C. When sine goes to the other side, there is a term such as sine minus 1. This minus 1 indicates sine inverse, and that you will see on your calculator automatically. You don't really have to work out or you have to worry about it. It's just there on your calculator. So when sine goes to the other side, turns into sine minus 1, or you call it as sine inverse. So sine inverse of 0.5808, that gives me something like this. So first thing, make sure your calculator is set on degrees. Second thing, make sure that you click this INV. This scientific calculator is on Google. So if you have a normal scientific calculator, a physical one, just press shift and then click the sine function, so you will get your sine minus 1, cos minus 1, or tan minus 1. So since we're dealing with sine, I'm going to be doing INV and then sine minus 1. If you write that down, you'll have something like this on Google: arc sine 0.5808, and the answer is 35.5, which means that my angle C is 35.5 degrees. So you mainly keep it one decimal place. So my question was work out the size of angle BCD, and that I have found out that my angle C is 35.5 degrees. Hence the question is solved. So if you have any questions, any confusions, drop them down in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching Easy Learn. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.